Welcome to Tactical Reviews for a really detailed look at the ANV Knives A100 folder. The A100 has a number of different options, so I'm just going to point out here on this one the BB to start with actually stands for the ball bearing pivot, and that's becoming a standard, so almost doesn't need to be said. DLC coating on the Sleipner blade. It's what they term the A-lock. It's really an axis lock, and it has the Ultem in a natural in the handles. So let's take this A100 out of the box. So we have a little quality control card, and here is the A100 with the Natural Ultem handle. So we're going to come in and have a really close look at all of the features. With the A100 folder line, these are a lightweight folder, and they feature ANV's distinctive blade profile, which you'll also have seen on other knives in the fixed blade lineup. And with the A100, so typically we have either Sleipner or Elmax blade steel. This is a Sleipner blade with a DLC coating. Another factor which the A100 has, which is quite distinctive, is the single-sided thumb stud. However, this is something you just unscrew and swap it round if you want to change between right and left-handed configurations. So here we are in the right-handed, and all you would do is move the thumb stud over to the other side to give you a left-handed configuration. So what's really nice here with the Natural Ultem is that we get to see kind of through the handle, which makes it nice and obvious, all of the different components. We will come in even closer, but at the moment I just wanted this general sense of handling. So even without the thumb stud, opening that, it's such a smooth blade deployment. So let's come in really close to look at all of those finer details. And I did say really close, so here we are. So you can see with the axis lock, you can actually see the spring for the lock pin and how that is moving while we open the knife. You can also see where the small steel liners finish. And obviously with Ultem we have this super high strength plastic, meaning that we have a very lightweight knife but with maximum strength. So on those small steel liners we have an area of jimping for the thumb. And moving on to the spacer and the wire pocket clip, which has two positions, so you loosen that off, and there's a sort of a special nut the other side, and that you would pop in to the opposite handle and refit it on this side. So you can even see here, as when we look through it, there's ribs, so we have strengthening but lightweight handle design there. So on this side the pivot is just plain blanked off, and on the other side there we have the torque adjustable, Torx bit for adjusting any tension there. Bear in mind this is a bearing, so not taking it apart, but I think that looks like captive bearings. And onto the blade, a nice sharpening choil. Looking over the DLC, so you can see this is the Sleipner one. And that single-sided thumb stud, but that you just undo that screw, swap it to the other side, and then you have the left-handed side. So stop pin and lock bar. So let's zoom out a bit more. It has to be said that I'm not really a fan of flicking open knives. I do like to control the opening with a thumb stud and know exactly where the blade is. With the A100, ANV have actually made this exceptionally easy, and might tempt me to use the knife in that way. And on that note, let's move on to the detailed technical testing. And moving on to the detailed technical measurements for the ANV knives, Acta Non-Verba knives, A100 folder. So this weighs in at 72.6 grams. Folded length is 12.2 centimeters. Folded width, actually there's just a bit with that thumb stud that sticks up past the blade, so I have to include that, and that takes it to 33.5 millimeters folded width. Overall open length. And that is 21.2 centimeters. Blade length I will take from that pointed part of the front of the handle, and we have 8.9 centimeters from the very front of the handle. Handle thickness, I'll do two measurements. I'm going to take it with and without the pocket clip. So I think the widest point is actually the axis lock. That gives us 15.3 millimeters, and with the pocket clip That comes to 16.1 millimeters. Handle depth will be thickest at this point, and that's 27.3 millimeters. Look at the balance point. So almost exactly through the blade pivot. So 10.2 centimeters from the tip. Blade thickness. Is 2.8 millimeters. The grind, I am sure this is a flat grind. And that there is a straight edge against it, so we've got a flat grind. Got a couple of difficulties here with the, let's come onto this side. So ignoring the thumb stud and working across really the top part, the plunge line is angled, and so I'm just going to pick this area to take these measurements for the grind length and the blade depth. So grind length of 18 millimeters, and at the same position that is a blade depth of 24.2 millimeters. Nearly forgot this. So we're going to measure the primary grind, primary bevel angle. Looks quite fine. Okay, and that gives us, so it's 8 degrees and 10 minutes. 8 degrees, 10 minutes for the primary bevel angle. Factory edge angle measured with the laser edge bevel protractor. So the right hand is 24 degrees and the left hand is 30 degrees, so 24 and 30 degrees on the factory edge bevels. Point angle. And that is quite a fine 46 degrees for the point angle. this behind the edge now. So 0.5 millimeters, nice and fine. Look to see if there's rake. And just a little, I think. So let's say that that is 7 degrees rake. And then let's see the factory edge sharpness. First of all, the center sharpness. $224 grams. Then moving on to the sharpness at the heel. 383 grams. Finally, sharpness at the tip. 374 grams. So thank you for joining me for this detailed look at the ANV Knives A100 folder. And remember, get informed, be prepared, stay sharp.